Started something. Oh, it started. Ah, yes, it's that time again. For the what is it? Uh, what? Uh, the Fang update. And today's issue is crank calls. Why are they called crank calls? Because they're done by cranks. But there are some calls that I was calling serial caller. Hi, serial caller. My long-term serial caller. You're okay. I hope you're right. Watch out. They've probably pinched your phone and they're making calls on it right now. Cranks. Why do they do it? Well, basically because they're sick, demented morons. And they just want to upset. They're waiting to get a rise out of me. Well, not just me personally, but everyone. I mean, what are they doing? Sometimes I think what the calls are about is you get these silent modes, and what they're actually doing is that they're waiting for you to start speaking so they can record it, and then they can turn around and use that recording, right, to do another crank call to someone else using your voice. This is what happens. Crank calls. Sometimes I think they're a little bit like making videos and putting it up on YouTube. But there's nothing cranky about this. No. So, yes, yesterday I got 4 crank calls. 4. Haven't you got a life, you pathetic crank caller? Or rather, I'd love to know what you call a collective of crank callers. Because I suspect that's what it was. So, yes, does it amount to anything? Probably not. Crank callers? Well, they're cowards and they're pathetic and useless scum buckets. I'm not talking about my serial caller. That's been going on for years. I'm talking about the cranks. And what they try to do is they try to crank up my emotional levels to get me upset. And that's what they do to you too. Think of it. There's probably someone sitting right next to you at that moment, at this moment, or maybe around the corner if you're out and about, and they are planning to ring you when you get home, just to upset you. Why? Because they haven't really got a life of their own. That's the problem. All I've got to say is, cranks, callers, get a life. Or rather, why don't you just move in the States? Or go overseas and never come back. Because you're losers. And losers do things like that. Wait a sec, did I do that once or twice? Yeah, when I was about 5, 6. Ringing up and doing crank calls. I don't know. I was once a loser. Oh, actually, I am an all-time loser. But that's a different sort of loser to that type of loser. That's a loser of... I've already gone over all that right before. So crank calls. What should happen to crank calls? Actually, now I come to think of it, what should happen to crank callers is this. Right? Everyone on their mobiles and their regular phones, they should have a special button. When you get the crank caller, right, you press it. And what happens is it sends a charge either through the air, yeah, I send a charge through the line or through the air, and it goes straight to their mobile phone and electrocutes the bastards. That'd be satisfying, I think. This has been the Fang update. And now I will consider the possibilities of was this informative? I think it was. I think it was very informative. For those at the Dan, because I haven't been there, I'll just say sorry. Just in case. If you see this, it's sorry. I haven't done one about sorry yet. Got to think about that. Anyway, take it easy.